of spring ball, what are you looking for? Is it improvement or is it more consistency?
Both, ideally, improvement in our consistency. I think a few guys, first day of pads on Wednesday or Monday, excuse me, handled it well. I think as a team, we handled it well. We had a good solid block, 2-hour block of a lot of drills, a lot of physicality. We're always striving to be more physical, but Kikoa's playing well, 3 practices in. Commanding the offense, being a leader, being energetic, and that's what's going to be contagious at some point. They're not always going to be your best day every day, but you can make the most out of your day. So improvement, consistent improvement. We'll have some live stuff today, which will that's where the game's played. So we'll find some things out, and we'll learn from it and get better from it, and continue to go
on. Kiko was talking about how he's critiquing himself on how much he wants to grade out over 90% efficiency and stuff like. Is that something that maybe you want to see as a quarterback? Not necessarily be harsh on himself, but like want that high level of critique, especially for him kind of taking up a new role, especially here in spring here.
I think you have team standards, as every team does, and then I think you have some position standards, and on each side of the ball, and then I think you have some individual standards. And guys usually set the standards high for themselves, maybe a step or two bigger or grandiose than maybe the position of the team. And I think he's one of those guys. He's a team player, but he's also a good player, so he's a good team player. And we're going to count on him, but he's got a long ways to go, but he's done a great job in a short amount of time to put him in position to be able to be very consistent, move the chains, hang on to the football, and allow those guys around him to make plays. And he's fun to watch. When you're fun to watch, whether it's whistle around your neck or whether you're sitting on the couch, it means you're probably a pretty good player. But he also embodies the leadership aspect as well, which that position should do. So we're 3 and 4 on the horizon, but his best days are ahead of himself, and he's doing a good job to put himself in a position to be the best he could be when those situations arise.
You mentioned you liked the first day, how the guys responded the first day of pads, but how have they responded to, I guess, the physicality of that?
Some of that stuff is situational, where we put them in situations. Doing too much too early can all of a sudden lead to, day 9, day 10, day 11, all of a sudden, you're without bodies, and bodies are important. All these guys put on a ton of weight, lifted a ton of weights over the winter, so you're not going to be able to go 8, 10, 12, 14 plays right out of the gate. We're not in football shape, and I don't expect them to be in football shape, but we're getting better in practice shape, and that allows us to be in football shape because it's different than running. Every snap is, what do they say, 4 to 6 seconds at the end of the day, depending on it. When you're doing that over and over and over, we practice at a high clip. We transition as efficiently as we can to kind of simulate Saturdays throughout the course of the week. So we'll build upon that. But our guys did a good job flying around. First day of pads is always that way. I'm curious. I'm always curious the second day in pads, how we respond to Monday. There's some ebb and flow. Offensively and defensively, how we took that mentally, how we come back physically, because the age-old question is how do guys look, whether it's coaches or whether it's you all. Let's wait till those pads are all 4 or 5 days when all of a sudden it gets a little harder because the bruises get a little bit bigger, where you got to overcome some of the mindset stuff to be able to put your best work on the field. So day 2 with pads today, and then we'll get back after it on Friday.
No, you just said we have to wait to see. But early on, what are you seeing from the defense that they're doing well, and maybe some areas they might need to improve on?
Well, I think we're teaching, we're understanding, we're technically coaching the aspect of tackling better. Missed too many tackles last year. We're not as physical as we need to be, and I think part of that was because we lack confidence. I really do. So we're trying to instill some confidence, trying to drill and repeat and not be okay with average at the end of the day. So we're critiquing things throughout each day, throughout each practice, throughout each drill. We got to do a better job as coaches to explain that and demand it really, and not be okay with average. So we'll be a work in progress this spring as we get into August. Hopefully we can build on kind of those tackling fundamentals. But those guys are flying around. You expect the old guys to kind of come in without missing, too much of a beat. Some of those young guys got to step up in the back end. Kentrell Williams, Drew Carter, some of those guys still to be determined in the next couple of days. Give them some more reps to be able to eval them, but they've done a great job up to this point. And we'll see. Coming back day in and day out in pads, that's always kind of the fun part to see how those guys respond, not only physically but also emotionally, psychologically, to the 14 practices. I mean, heck, we're 30% done after today. So time flies, and we're not even a week in. We started last Friday, so we got to get the most out of the moments.
You mentioned confidence. Where can that come from a football player? Can that only come from making plays on the field in practice, or can it come in other areas?
No, I think it starts in the other areas. If all of a sudden you're feeling like you're confident in other areas, but then going to demand confidence when you're between the lines, I think you're in a world of hurt. I think the consistency that we all see on the field, whether you're a spectator, fan, or player, I think it's what you're doing off the field that allows consistency to be on the field. We're not perfect by any stretch, but I think confidence comes with making plays. I think confidence really, to be honest with you, comes in situational moments where it's not just first or second down, where you make a big play in the red zone, on third down, on fourth down, and then you build upon that, knowing you're not going to make every one, but you visualize yourself making every one of them. And if you don't, you learn from it and move on. But I do think you have to have results to have believability, and if you have believability or more of it, then you develop more confidence. So it's individually driven, it's side of the ball driven, and it's team driven. So success builds believability, believability kind of breeds success and confidence. Good.
Very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.